Welcome to La Taverna BRDA, a full month exploring the wines and the winemakers of Slovenia's Brda region. A land steeped in culture and the history of wine, once part of a single unified wine territory, together with Collio in Friuli. From Roman times to the Habsburg Empire, its wines have always left their mark. And today, Brda stands as the epicenter of Slovenia's most important and best-known wines. Over the next 4 episodes, we'll hear conversations with 8 winemakers. Some have brought international attention to Brda. Others are young, passionate, and rising fast as the stars of tomorrow. But all of them are working together to show, through their work and through their wines, the very best that this beautiful region has to offer. Welcome back, Brda wine fans, to this last installment of this month-long festival of Brda wines, La Taverna BRDA. I'm Wayne Young, your host, and welcome back. I hope you've been enjoying these as much as I enjoyed making them. I do have to say, I truly enjoyed spending time in Brda. I really learned a lot about the region and a lot about the passion and about the commitment, especially when it comes to Ribolla Gialla. They are so committed. And it was such a great opportunity to meet a bunch of people who I had never met before. And in this episode, I'll be speaking with Simon Simcic, yet another Simcic, obviously a very popular name in Brda, from the Medot winery, and also with Luka Ribolica. Think of that. What a coincidence there. A guy who works with Ribolla Gialla and his last name is Ribolica. But we talk about that during the episode. Who is the winemaker for Klet Brda? Klet Brda is the big cooperative in Brda, and they really are taking on the idea, the concepts of the great cooperatives of Alto Adige, and we get into that a little bit as well. So what have you guys thought of Brda so far? Have you listened to all of the episodes? Have you also listened to the Italian episodes? Last week we had Silvio Yerman, a big deal, a major player in Friulian wine, now basing himself out of Brda. I want to really thank Klet Brda for giving us the space, the office space, the time dedicated to leaving all of my recording equipment in one of their offices for about 5 days. I want to thank Erica, who was absolutely essential in putting all of this together, helping out also with bringing in Simon Simcic from Medot at basically the last minute because one of the other guests could not make it. I wanted to thank Aleš Kristijancic from the Kristalvin winery. I'm really sorry that we couldn't get Alan from Kristalvin on the show, but he was really busy. But Aleš was really important in putting me together with Klet Brda and making sure that we got this thing done. So I really enjoyed exploring this area. We will be back next week with an episode of La Taverna Friuli. So we will be back in Friuli, Venezia Giulia, but I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank everyone, and I really enjoyed spending time in Brda. Anyway, without further ado, let us get into this last episode of this month-long extravaganza of La Taverna BRDA with Simon Simcic from Medot and Luka Ribolica from Klet Brda. We've already started speaking, and I love when the conversation is so natural that you're already into having a good conversation before I even hit the button to start recording. But I'm here with Simon Simcic from Medot and Luka. Luka, what's your last name?
Ribolica.
Ribolica.
So convenient.
Yes.
So convenient.
Did you do this on purpose? I mean,
I think it was destiny to be
it was
an
destiny
enologist.
to be an enologist. Okay. And so, Luka, you work with Klet Brda.
Yes.
Okay. And Simon, you are from Medot.
Yes.
Okay. But the thing that we were talking about before we started recording was the fact that, Luka, you actually went in and worked with Simon at Medot for a while.
Exactly. When I finished the studies,
Exactly.
my first job was at Medot Winery.
And your grandfather, was actually the one who built Klet Brda, or was
Yes.
it your great-grandfather, your grandfather?
My grandfather. At the time, the politics of the time, they wanted to build a cellar in Nova Gorica and join Brda and Vipava Valley into one cellar.
Okay.
And my grandfather, Simon Simcic, together with Professor Veselic from the Vipava region, they advocated that it's not right to join two separate regions.
Okay.
It's like mixing pears and apples.
Okay.
Both can be good, but you lose identity if you put it. So they advocated for two wineries. They also made the technological planning of both wineries.
Okay.
And it's their doing that then this winery was built in Dobrovo, and the Vipava winery was built in Vipava.
Oh, okay. Okay. So there's not just a wine connection here, but there's an ancient connection between the two of you. And I think that's really very interesting. So we already started speaking about where you're from. So, but I want to start with Simon. So Simon, give us a little bit background on Medot and how it started. We talked a little bit about this, but I do want to make sure that gets in here as well.
Medot started, if you look at our webpage, it's 1812.
1812, wow.
The year. But in 1812, what was that there was a vineyard, there was a house, which was really a farm, and all this was owned by our family.
Mm-hmm.
Wine producing, like we see it today, for Medot started in the 80s.
Okay.
And it started with my grandfather. His story actually started before. It started before World War II. He studied in the oenological school at Conegliano, which at the time was one of the best schools in the world.
Right.
Due to the war, he had to interrupt the studies, and he finished them in Ljubljana after the war. Mm-hmm. And then he dedicated his life to winemaking.
Okay.
He built the cellar here, and he ran it until the 1980s. And his biggest love was Ribolla.
Okay.
He also planted Ribolla in Brda. When he retired, the cellar, Klet Brda, had a production of roughly 12 million liters, and more than 50% was Ribolla.
Mm-hmm.
That gave him the nickname of father of Ribolla.
Wow.
But his other love was for French champagne. This is what I remember was usually on the table in the evenings at my grandmother's house.
French champagne.
Yes.
Wow.
And what he wanted to do is join the two passions and make a serious product, serious bubble with the base of Ribolla. And that's how Medot was born in the 80s.
Okay. In the 80s. Ah, yeah. So Medot is something that's been going on since the 1980s.
Yes.
Ah, okay. I thought it was a younger winery, but just, I'm learning too.
He retired in 1980. Mm-hmm. Then he started to produce at his house with his own vineyard.
Okay.
At the time was roughly 1 hectare, a bit less actually than 1 hectare. And the first sparkling wine was 87 that came out. And the first Medot was 92.
Okay.
In 92, it gained the name Medot.
I was really happy that you were here. And I also mentioned this before we started, but when I was talking to Silvio Yerman the other day, he was saying to me, he was like, "Do you know the wines from Medot?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "Oh, you have to have them on. You have to. And I was like, "Yeah, but we already have all of the producers set up, and I have this guy and I have that guy." And so just, I'm really, really happy that it came about that we needed to change a few things and that Erika was able to get you in here. So I'm really looking forward to tasting your wines, and I'm really happy that you're here. So
I'm very honored for having heard this story now.
That's why I was saving it for now. Exactly. So yeah, Silvio was really strong about saying, "Oh no, you don't know the wines from Medot." Like he looked at me like I was crazy.
Yeah.
And so I said, "No." He said, "Oh, you have to try. You have to try. They're very, very good." So I'm looking forward to trying.
Silvio is very persuasive. No, when he's sure about something.
That's a good way to be. That's a good way to be. Yeah, absolutely. And Luka, what about you? What's your story?
That's my story.
Yeah, how does so obviously you were born into the name of Ribolica, no, right? So
Yeah.
you're somehow related already to what's going on in the wine world here. But tell me about your story. Was some wine something you always wanted to do?
I can say yes, but actually, my family, my grandfather from Brda, actually grandfathers, was a grower, and they were part of Klet Brda from the beginnings.
Mm-hmm.
Later, my father started working here as enologist, and my uncles as a cellar masters.
Wow.
So
So your family is really connected.
really connected to Klet
this
Brda,
place, yeah.
and then slowly I was falling in love with the wine, because
Okay.
when your father is working with the wine, where your mother is working with the wine, and then you have friends that are winemakers, wine growers, everything is about wine. So slowly you start loving this word, and
Okay.
it then was the normal decision that I go to university, study agriculture and enology, and later when I finished the school, first thing I've done, I bought lab equipment to
Okay.
start laboratory analysis, etc., and to help people analyzing their wine, and to have some consultants, etc. And then I met Simon, and I decided to move from lab to the cellar and start a real thing. So, and I am very grateful that Simon gave me the first opportunity to produce wine, and he was really open, and I had open hands, so I could do whatever I like to do. So this was my first great steps to the wine world.
And Simon, do you only make sparkling wines, or do you make still wines as well?
Now we make still wines as well.
Okay.
We started out as only sparkling wines, but now we make still wines as well.
Okay. And Klet Brda, tell us a little bit about Klet Brda is what used to be the cooperative here. I mean, when we think of cooperatives, we can either think of the Alto Adige model, which is, lots of high quality, but very, very big, or you can think of cooperatives like other cooperatives where there's lots and lots of wine that's sort of medium quality, let's say. So give me a little bit of the story of Klet Brda as a cooperative.
So Klet Brda was established in 1957, and we have really big goals, and we are going toward direction of Alto Adige cooperatives. So focusing only on high quality wines, because we work together with 300 members that cultivate grapes on 900 hectares.
Wow.
That means half of the region. It's on the half of the region it's cultivating. Actually, our members are producing grapes, and this allows us. This is our treasure, because it allows us to do a lot of different things. Because in average, they own 3 hectares.
Right, exactly. 300 members, 900 hectares. Yeah, exactly.
And you have a lot of specific micro-locations, different vineyards, and this is really a treasure.
Okay.
And from that, we decided we put a lot of effort to analyze the plots, the vineyards, and to do the selection. Actually, now we have more than 30 years of data. What can we get from each vineyard?
Okay.
And then we make even a step further. At the end, we establish 2 wineries. One is Klet Brda, and the other one is de Bagher.
Okay.
So focusing on 2 different things. One is producing wines that has regional identity, but in respect to the consumer, to produce wines that are very likable with a big circle of people. And then you have de Bagher wines, where you are more on terroir side.
Okay.
Where you try to express only the territory characteristics. In respect, of course, to the consumer, but the idea is to express what Brda are.
Right. So, and you also do quite a few sparkling wines here.
Yes, actually, we produce around 5 million liters of wine.
Okay. In total?
In total.
And how much of that is sparkling and how much is still?
Oh, 1/5 it's sparkling.
Only 1/5. Okay.
1/5, yes. And the rest is still wine. So 70% white wines, 30% red wines.
Okay. So in general, and this is a question for both of you, how important is sparkling wine for Brda in general as a region? And has that always been the case, or is that something that's new?
Sparkling wine, I think, became important here in the 70s, but not as a classic method, méthode champenoise, but as a Charmat method.
Okay.
And this was with the start of the production of the Peneccia Ribolla, which is a Ribolla Gialla Charmat method.
Okay.
And this was a very successful, and still is a very successful wine that is produced from Klet Brda. In terms of sparkling wine of a classic method, it's not so divulged. And there's always a dispute here whether it should be based on Ribolla, which is more user-friendly when it comes to climate change and to hot summers, or on Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, but for which the climate here is much more different than what it is in Champagne. No?
Of course.
So we have a few producers that have started out just sparkling, of Biana is the main one, let's say. And they're quite having they're experiencing quite a success now. So I think Brda is also good for sparkling, of course, because of the success of various wine producers, but it's not the main.
It's not the main focus.
Yes, it's not the main focus.
Okay, but obviously it's something that's growing. It's something that's because Ribolla Gialla is really adapted to making sparkling wines. So is there something special about Ribolla Gialla in Brda that is particularly suited to making sparkling wine, or is it just Ribolla Gialla as a grape variety that's great for sparkling wine?
Well, I'd say there's two differences here. One is Ribolla Gialla in Brda or Collio, which it is the same region, or in Friuli where it is flatland.
Okay.
A big difference is how much grapes you have per vine, for instance. Now, here in Brda, we, let's say at Medot, we have between 2.5 kilos per vine for Ribolla for sparkling. In Italy, in Friuli, it's how much, Luca?
It's much higher, actually.
Yeah,
especially in the flatland, for sure.
The flatland, it's much higher.
So the biggest difference is in irrigation and, of course, the terroir. Now, here we have Ponca,
right?
And Ponca, it's a very, very poor soil, very mineral, very rocky. So the vines suffer all the time. And irrigation here, it's very, very rare.
Okay.
So when the vines suffer, the roots go deep. And the roots here, they achieve 12, 14 meters in depth.
Wow.
And so you cannot expect a high yield, but you can expect a very high quality. And so it is very different what comes out of Collio or Brda or what comes out from the flatland.
Right. And for you, Luca, is how important do you think for either the image of Brda, but also for the image of Klet Brda as a winery? How important is sparkling wine?
Actually, now sparkling wine is very popular. So it's very important for the winery, for income, etc. But also Ribolla, it's our local variety, most planted one.
Okay.
So it's planted on 22% of the whole territory.
Only 22%.
Only 22%.
If I had to guess, I would have guessed higher.
No, but it's 22.
Okay.
It's the first variety of the Brda region, and then the Chardonnay follows.
Okay.
And the rest. We in the whole region we have 24 different varieties. It's very important. Actually, the first sparkling wine, Charmat method, was introduced to the market in 1962.
Oh, wow. Okay.
My bad, sorry.
I'm not sure if it's first or not, but probably it's one of the first sparkling wine produced by Charmat method from Ribolla Gialla, from Ribolla.
Was it from Klet?
Probably yes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that.
I would be surprised if it wasn't. Yeah.
Probably is. And here we decided in the region to produce sparkling wines from actually 3 varieties. You have Pinot Noir, you have Chardonnay, and of course Ribolla.
Okay.
Because from each variety you get different aspects. So Chardonnay brings elegance, profile to the wine, Pinot Noir complexity, fruitiness, and then you have Ribolla that gives identical regional identity. And this is really important, and also bring the freshness and minerality to the wine. So that's why we produce mainly with those three varieties sparkling wine. We are focusing on Sharma method and also classical.
Okay.
So now we produce around 1 million bottles of sparkling wine.
Is there something about Ribolla that is either particularly good or particularly difficult when you talk? Let's talk about Metodo Classico, okay? But we can also talk about Sharma. Everybody knows that Glera, when you talk about Glera, we talk about Sharma, we talk about Prosecco, we talk about that. And there's a certain ease of making good wine with that method, with that grape variety. Is there something about Ribolla that is particularly good for Sharma or particularly good for Metodo Classico that maybe Chardonnay and Pinot Nero don't have? Is there something really great about Ribolla that for making these types of wines?
Ribolla is a very difficult variety.
It's a difficult variety.
It's a very difficult variety.
So if you want to make it, you really want to have to make it.
Yes, you have to be very patient. You have to focus on the terroir to choose really right plots, right vineyards for a sparkling wine or for the wine.
Okay.
Because otherwise you would not get the right results at the end.
Okay. Simon, what do you think? Do you agree with that, or?
Yeah, totally.
Totally.
There's a problematic with Ribolla, this vegetal bitterness, which you have to know how to handle.
Okay.
Once you can handle this, then Ribolla can provide marvelous results.
Okay.
A good thing about Ribolla in this region is that it matures much later than Chardonnay or Pinot Noir. So being a relatively hot region, even if you have your vineyards on northern exposure or so on, it still does not compare with Champagne. But with Ribolla, you can actually obtain similar acidity and freshness, pH, that like with Chardonnay, but obtaining a major phenolic ripeness.
Okay.
So you don't need to harvest too soon.
Okay.
Which is, if not the case, many times with Chardonnay and Pinot Noir here.
So is this waiting for Ribolla to become phenolically ripe? Is that the key to getting past that vegetal bitterness that you talked about? What do you have to do? How do you have to handle Ribolla to get past that? To pass that one hurdle?
I'll pass here the word to Luka. It's better you hear it right.
Normally with Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, you start at the beginning of August, in the middle of August. Then with Ribolla, you can wait until September. And when you wait, you achieve right ripeness and right maturity of the grape. And then you get this elegance profile that it's not bitter, that it's not phenolic, that it has this elegant finesse that you are searching actually in sparkling wine.
Okay.
And if you choose the right vineyards, you can produce by classical method a sparkling wine that has incredible aging potential.
Okay.
So this is why Ribolla is interesting. Brings freshness, brings minerality, have nice finesse, nice profile. And together with Chardonnay and Pinot Noir play very well.
Okay.
Because each of the variety brings some characteristics, like I said before. And together you have a sparkling wine that it's very likable. And also it has its own identity, and you can place it in Brda.
Okay. So if you were tasting blind, what would be the thing that would tip you off in a glass of wine to say, okay, wait, this is Brda? What would be the thing that you get on the nose or on the palate that would...
First thing, minerality.
Minerality. Okay.
If we speak about sparkling wines, minerality is the key.
Is it the saltiness minerality, or is it a different type of minerality?
Also, this salty finish that you can get from our region.
And that for you was the tip off.
And this is the tip off, and this is something that Ribolla expressed the most.
Okay.
So that's why it's very important for the region, because it express our territory and express this what we get from Opoka soil.
Okay. And you, Simon, you did not start off You are not like Luka, that you went to enology school and studied making wine. You were in a completely different direction. Tell me a little bit about your story, about how you got involved, which we talked about before we started.
Yeah. Well, as I said, our story started with my grandfather. He was the oenologist. I studied other things, marketing, management in a liberal arts college. So nothing to do with wine. My wine experience was in high school, going with my grandfather sometimes in the vineyard.
Okay.
And so I like the idea of everything. I always thought an individual can build a healthy life by physically working in the vineyard, producing something, selling it, and nurturing it. And so I was always, I felt this connection with wine producing. But
you were attracted to that.
I was attracted,
that cycle, right? You're out, you work, you harvest, you produce, you sell.
Yeah.
And you just this constant cycle. Okay.
Yeah. It gives you comfort and ease of mind, and proudness. But I wasn't lucky to study this. No? So, or at least in that moment, other priorities, let's say. So when I finished my college studies back home, our winery was a hobby program, but it grew to a certain point where it was either 2 steps forward or 1 step backward.
Okay.
And so we took 2 steps forward, but like Clint Eastwood said in Dirty Harry, a man's got to know his limitations. So I never.
First time on a podcast I've had somebody quote Clint Eastwood, but that's great. I love it.
and I never dared to think that I would be the one making wines or learning. Plus, I was stepping in shoes of my grandfather, who was quite good at it. Actually.
Okay.
He was really good at it.
So you had big shoes to fill.
And the bar was set quite high. No?
Exactly.
So we wanted to make things right. And that's how also my connection with Luka started. Well, not first with Luka, but with his father. My grandfather, actually, when he was getting older in age, he also wanted to have somebody next to him. And he always liked his father's work. Darinko is the father of Luka, and my grandfather always respected a lot Darinko. And Darinko also had and still has a big love for Ribolla.
Okay.
So this was something that connected them. And so he asked Darinko if he could help us on a consultant basis. And that's how we started to collaborate with the Ribolica family.
Okay.
And later, when my grandfather passed away, I always thought that teamwork is better than individual work. So I brought in the team another French oenologist who was an expert in bubbles from Epernay, Pierre-Yves Bournerias. He's also the oenologist of Celos or Eric Taillet, Deur, Saint-Vigneron Independent. And when Luka finished his studies, he also joined the team. So now Medot is a teamwork of 3 oenologists.
Okay.
Luka, Darinko, and Pierre-Yves.
So are you still involved with Medot?
Yeah, I'm still involved. We still work together.
Okay. I like this. Okay. So you work here at Klet, but you also still collaborate with Medot.
Exactly.
Okay. I did not know that. In fact, I was going to say, now that you work here, is there any sort of, jealousy that he left you? But no, he didn't leave you. You're still working together. So that's good.
People from Bird are strange.
How
we really like to work with the vine and the wine.
This is the last podcast of the 4 that I'm doing here. And it's rare that you see this kind of passion, especially for one grape variety that you have here, because everyone who's come here has brought me a bottle of Ribolla. And it's always Ribolla. Oh. Nobody ever thought to bring me a bottle of well, actually, no, Zete brought me a bottle of Schioppettino only because he knows that I like Schioppettino. But he also brought me a bottle of Ribolla. So there's so much of your identity tied in with this grape variety.
Yeah.
Is there something about maybe the Brda personality? Because you said Brda people are strange. Okay. So what is it that connects you so strongly with Ribolla? What is that strange connection?
Well, for the way I see it, Ribolla for Brda, it's like Chardonnay for Chablis.
Okay.
It's what comes natural here. It's what I believe Brda is made for. It was made for making good Ribolla.
Okay.
It's our autochthone grape variety. You normally find it only in this region here. And of course, it makes great results. All the medals that are won every year from, well, especially from Klet Brda, is a confirmation of that now. So what makes Ribolla special is the fact that it's not anywhere else, really. It is, you even find it in the Napa Valley, actually.
Yeah,
and
it's true.
You do find it elsewhere now, but this is where it originates and where the most concentrated production is.
Of course.
And that differentiates us from everybody else. Now, we can make a good Chardonnay, but we will also be in the shade of the great world Chardonnays.
Of course.
But with Ribolla, we have a chance of stepping into the sun, into the spotlight.
Exactly. And what about you, Luka? What is there something? Is there something about the personality of Ribolla that has influenced the people, or something about the people that has influenced Ribolla?
Ribolla is a fighter, like people from Brda.
Ribolla is a fighter.
Yes.
Okay.
Contributes towards climate changes, etc. It's a variety that really grow great in the Brda region, and also in Brda, the beginnings were very tough. People had actually nothing, and they start from zero.
Okay.
So it was a difficult path to establish the things and the image where we are now.
Okay.
And Ribolla express this story in the most beautiful way. And people from Brda realize that Ribolla brings uniqueness to the territory.
Okay.
Because if you plant Ribolla grape variety in different places, you will not get the same results that you get in Brda region.
Okay,
So
of course.
if you want to have this kind of wine with this saltiness, with this minerality, with this character, you have to plant Ribolla in Brda. You have to plant Ribolla on Opoka soil, on the steep slopes. It needs to be planted on the hills,
Okay.
on the terraces. And this is something that you can't copy. And that's why Ribolla is the main variety, and why Ribolla is important for the region.
Was it a question for both of you? And does somebody have some Ribolla that we can try while we talk?
I think both.
We both have.
Whoever wants to open, but you have a Ribolla here. I will open and serve, and you tell me a little bit about what this wine is.
Okay, I brought Ribolla from Krasno village.
From Krasno village.
From
okay,
Krasno
so the
village.
name on the label is the name of the village.
Of the village.
And what's special about this place?
And also the name means beautiful.
Krasno means beautiful.
Or wonderful.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay, that's fantastic. Okay.
And the idea was to express territory and this mineral character and this vertical profile of Ribolla. Krasno is the village that it's placed in the northern part of Brda region, on a higher altitude. So we are about 300 meters above sea level. There are very steep slopes. All the vineyards are on the terraces, and there is a typical Opoka soil, which is flesh. It's a marl, clay, and sand. But on this part of Brda, there is more marl, which influence the profile of...
There's more marl.
Yes.
Okay.
It's
and you can
more
see
calcareous
on
soil,
the label. Yeah.
And you can see all the vineyards on the label, actually, because we want to express this terroir. Very gentle profile. On the nose, you can find these typical notes of citrus, acacia flower, and then quince. Maybe a touch of white peach. The idea was to pick the grapes in the last part of September, then gently pressed, and the vinification took place in big oak barrels and one part in barricks.
Okay.
Later, wine aged for 1 year in the barrels. After that, we've done the tasting. We decided which barrels goes together, and we leave the wine for at least half a year in a big oak barrel or in a stainless steel.
Okay.
Depends on the vintage. and later it's bottled and presented to the market. The idea is to express this mineral vertical character of Ribolla.
Yeah, you get that salty, savory part of Ribolla here. It really comes
sapidity.
through. Sapidity, yeah. We will call that sapidity, yeah. But that idea of saltiness and savoriness, yeah, it's very, very nice, right? I love the color. It seems to have a bit of a deeper color. Is that from the time in the wood?
It's from the wood, and also Ribolla, if you pick it late, it always brings some yellow character to the wine. And this is something it can be distinct from this with this parameter. You can distinct Ribolla from the other varieties. Actually, always bring. That's why Ribolla Gialla, because brings or Rumena Ribolla always brings these notes of yellow to the wine.
Exactly. No, very nice. Thank you for sharing.
I should chill it.
No, very often we drink our white wines too cold and we drink our red wines too hot. No, and I think tasting this wine at this temperature, that's not, 2 degrees. I think you understand a little bit more the character of the wine.
Also, we say for our region that we are heroic viticulture. We have this heroic viticulture due to the steep slope.
It's very steep here.
It's very steep and it's difficult to work. So we have to put a lot of manual work, actually. It's difficult to cultivate things with the machines. So also the grapes are handpicked at the end. Everything is produced in the circle of family. That's why we are also producing actually grapes in we could say organic way. It's a sustainable way, because otherwise it's impossible. And people are producing grapes in the circle of family, so they know how to produce the grapes and they respect the nature.
Right.
And this is really something that it's important for everyone, that they respect the nature and that they obtain the conditions also for the next generation.
How do you incentivize? How do you push your partners, your growers, to produce quality and not quantity? Because normally they get paid by the kilo.
Yes.
So how do you get them? How do you convince them to say, no, don't produce more, produce better?
So we establish 2 ways of payment. So for one part of the grapes, we pay per kilo. But we have different selections because depends on the vineyards, depends of the condition. And we decide which vineyard is for what kind of wine. So for the sparkling wine, you can have higher yields. For wine like Krasno, you need to have lower yields, for example.
Okay.
And then you are paid differently, because depends also how much of work you invest in the vineyard.
Okay.
And then for Debaguer winery, we pay by hectare.
Okay.
We are probably the first winery in Slovenia that start paying our partners, our members, our families by hectare, not per kilo.
Okay.
With this, we encourage them to follow our idea till the end.
Okay.
But this was something that was not easy to do. So because when you are a state, when you own the vineyard, when you own the grapes, you produce grapes and then do the wine, you have the whole idea. From the beginning to the end, you see the result of your work. For our families, it was not like that because they produce only grapes. At the end, they haven't seen the result. So they were focusing only how to produce good grapes and sell them for right amount of money. But if we want to change the things and how they work in the vineyards, we have to bring the world of wine closer to them. So we decided to educate them in this way. So every year we invite them to our winery. Actually, from January up to March, we are here. We have different tastings with different lectures where all the wine growers came and they are with us, and we try to present them different styles of wines and what you can get from which kind of grape.
Okay.
So this was this was something that had very great effect on understanding how important it is to do the right things in the vineyard. Actually.
In the vineyard. Okay. Wow, it's very interesting. So I wanted to ask you, Simon, was there, not coming from sort of a wine background, was there a moment for you that you can remember when you sort of said, okay, I've now stepped over the line and now I'm a producer of wine. I'm no longer a marketing guy. You said you studied marketing and finance. And you said, okay, now I've become a producer. Was there a moment when you realized that, or when you wanted to do that? Tell me a little bit about just how you came into that feeling or moment when you became a producer.
Well, this feeling came in a very particular moment. It's when my grandfather died, actually.
Okay.
When he passed away, then I had nowhere to lean on, nothing to support me, and that made me realize that now it's for real. Now you better know what you're doing. No?
Okay. So it's kind of like it's now or never type of thing.
Yeah. Well, it was now. Never was never an option.
Never was never an option. It's now. Okay.
Yeah. Put your game face on. No?
Exactly. So what about, I mean, you both seem to have like a lot of experience. For as young as you both are, you both seem to have a lot of experience. But is there something that you're still trying to learn about Brda? Still trying to learn about Ribolla? Is there something that you're still searching to understand?
First of all, thanks for putting me in the same age basket as Luka.
Well, you're not that much older. He's 25 and you're 33. For me, listen.
Exactly.
I'm going to turn 60, so for me, you're both really young.
And we can finish the podcast here and we're happy about it.
No, for me, you're both young guys. So anyway, so yeah, I mean, you both have quite a bit of experience in this place. I mean, you have generational experience here. So is there still something you're trying to understand? Is there still a little mystery here in Brda that you're trying to sort of unravel?
You want to go first? I go.
Yeah, the configuration of the terrain is very picturesque. It's very diverse.
Okay.
There are no big plots of vineyards. So we have many different small vineyards, different small parcels. Each is different. I have different microclimates, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that driven you, because you want to discover each parcel by its own and to understand from which one you can produce the wine that you want, that can express the territory in the way you like. So it's always interesting. It can be boring, and gives you.
But you're always learning.
You are always learning, always evolving. This is something that is beautiful in Brda.
And for you, Simon?
Yeah, to continue on Luka's point, I think that a very important characteristic in winemaking is humbleness.
Humbleness.
So even once you succeed, once you become, I don't know, famous, and your wine is world renowned and so on, the important thing is to remain humble. Otherwise, you stop advancing. You stop improving, and you always find a way to improve. Even if you're at 99%, from 99 to 100 can be a lot of little steps.
Exactly.
And this is the most important aspect, I think. Technology changes. Each generation has brought something new, and the next generations will also continue to bring something new now. So it's an ever-evolving thing now.
Okay.
You cannot just stop and say, okay, this is it. From now on, we make it just like that.
And apart from the idea of, we're looking at very steep vineyards, lots of different plots, lots of different types of soils, lots of different expositions. What are some of the other big challenges that you have here in Brda? I mean, obviously, the variation, that's different. The types of soils, or the mix of clay and rock and ponca. But what are some of the other real big sort of challenges that you have here in Brda for making wine?
I think the biggest challenge is the same as everywhere. No, it's climate change.
Okay.
Right now, no. So adopting to new realities, to new balances, and at the same time, try to improve your wine.
Mm-hmm. For you, Luka, what do you think about
definitely climate changes and this unstable weather. We just had a flood actually.
Yeah, all these heavy rains.
Heavy rains, etc. And also this is the thing that is very challenging actually. The distribution of the rain during the year. You have plenty of rain actually, but it's not distributed in the right way. So during
It
the
all
summer,
comes in one shot.
it all come in one shot actually.
Yeah.
So and during the summer, it's very hot, it's very dry, and this is a challenge really. We have this dry farming actually that brings good results, but it's going to be a great challenge in the future. So we'll see what will happen.
Okay. Where would you, because again, multi-generational experience here, which is really interesting for me. Where do you sort of draw the line? What would you sort of define as innovation, and what would you define as tradition here in Brda? And where would you sort of separate those two things?
Probably the tradition is that we are still focusing on the white wines.
Okay.
Because in Slovenia, the consumers prefer whites than reds. Because when I finished my master degree actually in Piacenza, Università Cattolica del Sacro Cuore, and when I moved there, I thought that people drink only white wines. And it was a really cultural shock for me. Because
everybody was drinking red.
Everyone was drinking red, and I was like, oh, okay, that's something new for me. And then I returned with all this knowledge back. But still, the innovations, for example, maybe sparkling wine is innovation for the region.
Okay.
Because nowadays it's very popular, and due to the terrain and because we understand how the things are going in Brda, we could adapt to that, and we can produce high quality sparkling wine, classical method or Sherma method.
Mm-hmm.
So we are always paying attention on the market. We know in which direction market go, but still we are too proud not express the territory and the terroir, because we always try to put Ribolla first. We try to express Brda, and this is something probably traditional that we are still following.
Okay. And for you, Simon, what do you think?
Yeah,
Where do you draw the line between tradition and innovation?
I think that tradition is important, that it stays as it is. And tradition for me, it's Ribolla and cultivation of the grape here. Innovation is how you cultivate it, how you produce the wine, how you nurture the wine. The technology goes on and helps us solve problems like oxidation for whoever produces classical wines now. And this is all welcoming. But you must not lose your identity. And this is it's about tradition now.
Okay. So let's talk about something a little bit less technical. Let's talk something about a little bit more emotional. How would you define a perfect day here in Brda? What would be your idea of like a perfect day in Brda? It could be a day where you're working, or it could be a day when you're not working. But give me an idea what you do that you would say, today was a perfect day.
Well, first of all, no rain.
No rain.
It's got to be sun.
Yeah, exactly.
The temperature must not exceed 35, because then the vine suffers too much.
Okay.
And ideally, it's I guess it's in the morning in the vineyard, nice lunch, afternoon in the cellar.
What are you having at lunch? What's your perfect lunch here in Brda?
Oh, we call it pasta Sunday.
Tell me, this is the first time I've ever heard of it. Tell me about this.
Sandy, it's a colleague of ours who takes care of the vineyards at the Medot winery.
Okay.
And he makes this pasta, which is very good, which is basically tomato sauce with salsiccia, with
the sausages.
The sausages, local sausages that we also grow ourselves.
Okay.
Well, we grow. I mean, we process ourselves.
Right. Do you have your own pigs?
No,
you buy them.
Those we buy them.
Okay.
Yes, but from known
farmers.
Yeah. And well, that with, of course, a glass of Ribolla.
Okay. With a glass of Ribolla.
Yeah.
So so tomato sauce and sausage with Ribolla.
Yeah.
Not with a red wine. Okay, this is interesting.
Yeah.
And for you, Luka, what's a perfect day in Brda?
So I'm a kid of spring, actually.
You like spring.
I like spring.
Mm-hmm.
And my perfect day actually is in spring because the temperature is all right.
Not too
and
hot, not too cold.
Not too hot, cold, not too hot. Then you have everything is blooming, everything is flowering.
Right.
So because also all the vineyards are produced in sustainable way, we have a lot of green crops, etc. So we have plenty of flowers there. So walking through vineyards on the sunny day, maybe drinking and tasting Ribolla, this is something I really like.
Okay.
Otherwise, yes, in Brda, we like to pair Ribolla with meat, with pasta, etc. So normally we serve Ribolla with pancetta, with ham, with prosciutto, with salami.
So cured meat, okay.
With cured meat, yes.
Yeah, but I would say like a cooked sausage and red, so tomato sauce, but still Ribolla.
It's the sapidity and the minerality that pair well.
That pairs well.
That the sausage doesn't cover it. It actually
helps with the fattiness of the sausage. Yeah.
It goes really great with
So when do you guys drink your red wine? Let's talk a little bit about red wine. Do you make red wine at Medot?
Yeah, we started recently.
Recently. Making? What kind of wine?
Well, we have a red cuvée and aged in oak, and then we have 2 single vineyards, Merlot and Cabernet Franc. But all of these need to still come on the market.
Okay.
They will start coming out beginning of 27.
Oh, okay. So we have a little bit of time to wait. Yeah. Okay. And obviously Klet makes some red wine. So when are you guys, so, okay, we're going to have a perfect day and we're going to go out in the vineyards and it's a beautiful spring day and we have this great pasta with sausage and we're always drinking Ribolla. Do you ever drink any red wine?
Yes.
And what do you drink?
When there are steaks on the table.
Steaks on the table. Okay. All right.
So
you do eat some red meat here.
We do.
And you don't have Ribolla with red meat.
No.
Then Merlot and Cabernet Franc, I think, stood up.
Merlot and Cabernet Franc.
Yes.
Okay.
We have, like I said, 24 different varieties in the region, 17% white varieties, 30% reds.
Okay.
But with red, it's much easier because we have only 5 of them, actually. So we have Merlot, that is main red variety. Cabernet Sauvignon, due to its popularity.
Of course.
Cabernet Franc, Pinot Noir, and a little bit of Scopettino or Pocalza.
Right.
Slovenian. But I think that due to the terrain, due to the soil, the Cabernet Franc and Merlot are the grapes that are really suitable for the Brda region due to the clay that we have in the soil and this ponca or apoca. Cabernet Franc, normally where there is more marl in the soil, it's perfect because there is not high quantity. It's very concentrated grapes with typical peppery note, very spicy. This brings some complexity also then to our blends later. And you have Merlot that it's not jammy, it's not boring. It has nice acidity, nice minerality, a lot of black fruit on the nose, especially black plum, blackberries, etc. And with great acidity and pH that helps to age this wine very well. And we are really focusing on the production of Merlot. And if we do the red blends, we combine it always with, we blend it always with Cabernet Franc also.
Okay.
And these blends or Merlot as single vineyard is very good for the steaks and the things like that. To enjoy the barbecue.
Okay. So you do enjoy some barbecued meat and some red wine.
Okay.
Well, thank goodness. Okay.
We are human.
Is there a grape variety that you would love to try and make in Brda? Is there something that you don't find here that you would like, I would love to try to make that here?
Oh, nowadays I'm really fascinated about Assyrtiko, actually.
Assyrtiko?
Yes.
Wow, that's
Probably
very interesting.
It goes in toward direction of Ribolla. It has this mineral vertical character.
Maybe a little bit more aromatic.
More aromatic on the profile. But it's something that I really like and really enjoy to drink.
I wonder if there'd be anybody who would be crazy enough to plant Assyrtiko here. I think
we have plenty of wines. We don't need that. We have to put more effort even to plant even more Ribolla. Because with Ribolla we'll put ourselves on the wine map.
Right. And what about you, Simon? Is there a grape variety you would love to try here?
I wouldn't really know, actually. I think one grape variety which is already here but is not enough focus on it. It's Cabernet Franc.
Cabernet Franc.
I think the Cabernet Franc here, as Luka mentioned earlier, brings great results, but there's very few vineyards that actually have Cabernet Franc.
My experience always with Cabernet Franc, especially in Friuli, it was always for a long time very, very green. It was very, very vegetal. But now, of course, the climate is changing and it's becoming warmer. So do you think that's something that can become more viable here, more able to produce good wines? I mean, I have a good friend in Friuli who makes the most amazing Cabernet Franc, but I don't think he would be able to do that until recently, since it's gotten so much warmer. So do you think that maybe in general, Cabernet Franc can become more popular here because of climate change, or red wines in general? Do you think you see a growth of red wines here because it's becoming warmer and warmer?
I think so. Climate changes are helping us, definitely. For example, this year we put our wines, we sent our wines to the decanter, for example.
Okay.
And we got 5 gold medals. 2 for the whites.
Nice.
And 3 for the reds.
Wait, say that again?
And we got 5 gold medals.
Okay.
2 for the whites and 3 for the reds.
So you got more gold medals for the reds than for the whites.
Yes.
Were you surprised by that?
We were surprised. We didn't expect that because still I think the whites are the main varieties that really represent our region. But also the reds brings from year to year more interesting results. And Merlot and Cabernet Franc really express the terroir.
Okay. This is a difficult question because you guys know each other so well, but is there a wine that is made by the other person that you wish you had made? So is there a wine that Luka makes here at Klet that you say, we should have made that wine? Or vice versa, Luka, that there's a wine that you make or at Medot, you say, no, we should make that wine here. Well, you had automatically a response, Simon.
Yes, we are not the right audience to ask this question because
you still
he
work
makes
together.
the wine. So
exactly, exactly. But is there something that you would like to? I don't know, maybe a philosophy or an idea that you would like to take from his winery, from Medot, to bring here, or vice versa? Is there something that Luka does here at Klet that you was like, hey, Luka, why aren't you doing that with us too? I don't know, something about that. Well, and then I'll ask a different question after that.
I always admire the reds. The reds of Klet Brda.
Okay.
I always, the whites as well, by the way. But if I look at Slovenia in general, the reds are the ones I like the most, are from Klet Brda. But we have started this with Medot now, so I'm looking forward when we bottle next year.
Right.
I would not take anything from the cellar, but I would definitely take something from the vineyard.
What
is it about the vineyards that you really admire, that you would want to steal?
They have really nice plot for Ribolla.
Okay.
It's in the heart of the Brda, on the typical Opoka soil. And now they are also cultivating in organic way. And when you go during the year through their vineyards, you will see also the sheep there, for example. And this is something that I would have in my vineyard, definitely, to be even more connected to the nature.
Is organic, is that sort of 100% for you, Simon, for Medot? Are you guys 100% organic, or is that...
No, but we try to be the most responsible possible, and at the same time, of course, to guarantee a constant quality.
Right.
Because in Slovenia you have this part. We are in the middle. On the northern part, you have Julian Alps, and then we are just 1 hour actually away from the Alps, and we are half an hour away from the Mediterranean Sea. So. Then you have in the Alps, you have many families that have cows sheep, etc. And we have many families that grow grapes and have different vineyards, etc. And this collaboration with those families is something that is, for me, really fascinating. And this is what they are doing. So two different regions that have different conditions and they do different things. But now they're starting to collaborate with that one idea to be as much as possible respectful toward the nature. And this is something that we should work on, I think.
Is this something you also get from outside, people coming in saying, are you organic? Are you biodynamic? Is this sort of a marketing win if you're able to say, yes, we're organic? Is that not a pressure that you're finding from the market to be more sustainable?
Actually, we are from the beginning really sustainable. Like I said, more or less all people are working in the circle of family. So you would not do something that is bad for you.
Right.
But when you see this process of evolution, actually, it's a normal thing that sooner or later, everyone will go toward organic production. So not even now we are trying to push the limits, to push our families to go even further. So now we are part of the sustainable production, but we are going toward organic. So we are at the beginning because this brings also big investments on the farms, etc. And you can't do it from today to tomorrow. You need time, but people are listening. People are they want to go toward that. So slowly we'll go, but not because the market wants, because people that are living here want that.
So the people are even aware of the impact of sustainable farming on their future.
Yes, because one thing that is very interesting is we have also in the region many beekeepers that produce honey. And honey is always controlled, and they have to do many different analyses. When they put the honey, for example, on analysis for the pesticides, etc., there is no residual pesticides in the honey or whatsoever. So people are very respectful for that, because also in our veins, actually, the honey is something that it's, we say, Slovenian identity. For example, typical Slovenian breakfast is bread, honey, butter, and apple.
Oh, okay.
So it's
I didn't know that.
It's part of our identity.
Yeah.
Also, another thing, I think that it's the thing about which the foreigners are mostly surprised when they come to Brda is what Luka mentioned, the way we cultivate things, how small we are, how small each plot is, and how little hectares each family has.
Right.
Here, when you have 100,000 bottles, you're among the biggest wine producers. Elsewhere, you're not even a beginner, now, let's say. No? So it's not an industry now here. It's always family work. It's always manual labor. And the sustainability, it has always been part of the culture.
Is tourism, and especially wine tourism, something that's growing here in Brda?
A
lot. Okay. So where are we getting most of the tourists from? Where are they coming from?
I think Ljubljana is of course an important basin, but I think that the majority now is
Ljubljana is about what, an hour?
An hour away, yeah, an hour and 20.
Okay.
Well, now maybe more with all the problems on the highway,
with different landslides, and
I think the majority is foreigners now who come to Brda.
Foreigners, definitely.
Yeah.
Austria, Italy, which are close by, but again, a lot of Americans, Belgium. Also, Belgium was a big, I think also a lot of Scandinavians.
And a lot of tourists from Netherlands.
Netherlands?
Yes.
Yeah. Why do you think Belgium, Netherlands, what do you think is bringing them here? What do you think that the attraction is? I mean, obviously, nobody said anything about like UK or London or anything like that, or Berlin, but, Belgium and the Netherlands, what do you think it is? Is there something about wine culture there that people are looking more adventurous, maybe?
I think maybe it's markets where we are more present than elsewhere in terms of wine, but also it has to do with tourist agencies and the packages that they provide. So probably there's a collaboration between these two states, and that brings in a lot of people to Slovenia. You must know Slovenia is very small. So if somebody comes and visits Slovenia for a week, almost for sure one day will be in Brda. If he wants to taste some wine. So it's not necessarily a tourist that comes only for the wine.
Okay. What are the other? I mean, there's a lot of cicloturismo here. A lot of people come here to ride bikes.
More and more. Yeah.
More and more. Yeah. Is there any sort of other wine tourism, biking tourism? What else?
Restaurants also.
Restaurants.
Gourmet, not really restaurants like Michelin star restaurants, but many wine producers also prepare food, local food. Many of them have their old recipes, so from their grandmothers, from their nonnas.
Okay.
Like fertalia or like the sausages we mentioned
Yes, exactly.
Before, and so it's a combination of everything.
Okay.
Wine, food, and sports.
And how do you think you can improve this type of tourism here? What do you think would be some of the things that you could do to bring more people here?
Well, marketing, of course. It's the only way.
What kind of marketing?
Yeah. Well,
what's the marketing that works nowadays? Because it used to be guides, right? It used to be, you have a wine guide, and you would get Tre Bicchieri, or you would get some sort of 92 points in Wine Spectator. Is that still valid for you guys, or are there other channels of marketing that are more important now?
I think this is a bit already passé. This was popular decades ago.
Yeah.
Of course, everything helps now, but in those days it made the difference. Now, I think now the most important thing and the biggest strength of Brda is the genuinity. We're not a Disneyland type of region now, where everything is perfect for the tourist, like some other wine regions. So for whoever comes here, he sees a pristine environment, a pristine offer also now in terms of food, of wine, and a lot of variety. Ribolla, it's what ties us all together, but many grape varieties prosper well here in Brda now, and depending who you visit, as we mentioned before, whites, reds, rare reds. You also have good Shiraz, good Schiopettinos.
From here?
Yes.
Well, Shiraz I didn't know. Schioppettino I knew. Because we had Andrea Udzetic here, because he makes sports.
Yeah.
But I didn't know there was Shiraz as well.
Yeah, actually Klet has Shiraz, no? Some.
Just actually, now we have just one vineyard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably it's a variety that it's not going to remain in the region.
Too difficult?
Too difficult to grow, but you can produce interesting things. But we'll put more effort on Merlot and Cabernet Franc.
Do you think... Are there some preconceptions that people come here with, and when they get here, they kind of go, oh, I didn't know that? Is there some sort of thing that when they get here, they understand something completely different than what they had thought before they arrived?
Probably they don't expect this pristine nature of the Brda.
Okay.
How we do things. And for example, if you go around the world and you go into the bigger and more... in the region with higher renomme for the winemaking, as a tourist, you always have a guide that takes you through cellar and then have degustation with you. In Brda, normally you are with the winemaker.
Right.
So this is something that people really appreciate, because they spare time with the one who actually did the wine.
Is that difficult for the winemakers here? Because it takes time away from work.
Yeah. But winemakers, most of them, they don't travel as much now as other winemakers.
Okay.
And it's a combination of vineyard, winemaking, and tastings. Now, this is really a job description of a winemaker here.
Okay.
And
so it's part of the job.
Yeah, and what Luka said, it's true. For instance, not one visit, it's the same. So it's not like if you go to a renowned winery, the visit has a precise offer, no, which you get over and over again when you visit. Now, here it's all relative. No? It depends what the winemaker is, how he's feeling that day, and what he would like to put on the table.
Do you do visits, Simon?
Yeah, we also do visits. Yeah,
but you personally?
Sometimes, yeah. Yeah.
And Luka, do you do visits, or are you too busy in the cellar?
When I'm not too busy in the cellar, I do visits.
You do visits as well.
Yes.
So tell me about a really good visit that you had, and tell me about a really bad visit that you've had. Well, good experience, bad experience.
For me, a good experience was when a couple came and they had the weather was perfect, the temperature was perfect, the terrace was wow.
Okay.
And so they really had a nice, beautiful afternoon, and they love sparkling in general, and they really fell in love with our sparkling wines. And that, of course, was comforting at the end to have contributed this. I think a bad visit is equal for everybody here when they already come quite drunk, and they don't really care about. They just want to have. So also this exists, of course.
Does that happen often?
No, but sometimes,
goodness.
sometimes, yeah.
How about for you, Luka? Good visit, bad visit?
The same. When you have, for example, the bad visit is when some big group arrive late and already done 2 wineries before, and then you're just the last on the list. This is really bad experience because no one.
They're just here to drink.
Exactly.
That's terrible.
But you don't have so much time to just give it away. So because our goal is to fascinate people about our wines, about our region. This is the main thing. That's why we also like the tastings. And when you miss that, it's not good. Yeah. And I really like to work with smaller groups, with people that are really into the wine. So we can go really deep, and they listen, and they try to understand the region, the characteristics, etc. So when you speak about your story, about your work, about all this passion, this is something that inspires you and also others.
Do you do visits? Do you travel and visit other wineries outside of Brda?
Always. This is part of our education, actually. And also the most fun part of our work, to make new friendships, to work, to discuss things with other winemakers, etc. But this is also something that we do with our members. Actually, we always go with them at least once a year. For example, in Wachau, in Alto Adige, or in Tuscany. We've been in Tuscany or Piedmont, to go there to see how people are cultivating grapes there, how they are working in the vineyards, how they produce wine, etc., to get as much of experience as possible to bring this knowledge back to our region.
Is there a specific visit that you remember as particularly good, as particularly interesting, as particularly educating, something that you really, wow, that was a really great visit?
A really great visit was in Wachau, when we visited Domain Wachau, because how they established and how they work now and how they present the region and the winery is amazing. Interesting visit was also in Tuscany, especially in the part of Maremma, where everything started from zero, and it was quite new part of Tuscany, because the northern part has more tradition, but Maremma starts now, actually. And to see how people are working and how they start from zero and where they are now, it's something that inspires. Then, of course, Alto Adige is always, for me, my favorite place. I really like to go there because the mountains are there. I really love mountains.
Oh, okay.
And the wines that they produce are good.
What's your favorite wine from Alto Adige?
My favorite wine from Alto Adige are whites.
Whites?
Yes.
Just one.
For example, before I spoke about 2 whites that we get the gold medal on the counter, 95 points. And these 2 whites were Pinot Bianco, white Pinot.
Oh, okay.
And the white Pinot from Alto Adige is the variety.
Is there a particular producer that you like in Alto Adige, or
I like
just the style in general?
But I like the style in general, but I really like also the wines from Colterenzio or Terlano and other cooperatives.
And what about you, Simone? Any visits that you found particularly impressive or that were really important for you when you've been out going around?
Well, I wish I could visit more. If I look, for me, very interesting was actually a visit many years ago at the winery of Selos.
Okay.
And how he, in those days, concentrated on a different concept of winemaking than generally in Champagne. He was really looking after the vineyard, which in Champagne at that time was not so common. It was more marketing. It was more putting the product on the market, whereas Selos was... he didn't really care about that. For him, the most important thing is how can he shape his vineyard and his wines according to the terroir where he is present.
Right.
And you really feel this energy and these values when you listen to him speak.
Okay.
For me, that was inspiring. And I think that's what every wine producer, most of them are also doing right now.
I think that, you can almost say you can like or not like a style, but you can't criticize somebody's passion for what they're doing.
Exactly.
There's plenty of wines that I could say, it's not my style of wine. In fact, I love Champagne, but Selos is not my favorite. I have other ones that I like, but I totally appreciate what he does and the amount of passion that he puts into it.
Exactly.
What's your earliest memory of wine? What's the first time? And I'm asking you to go way back into your, because obviously you don't have the same culture here. I mean, in America as they do here. I mean, I can remember the very first time I drank like a sip of beer out of my uncle's can of Pabst Blue Ribbon. But what's your first memory of wine here? It has to be when you were a child, like an infant practically. But what's the first memory that you have?
For me, it's nothing nice, actually. because
Pabst Blue Ribbon was mine, so there you go.
When I was small, let's say like from 12 on.
Okay.
My father would make me always taste wine at lunch. I never drank it, but I had to always taste it. And for me at the beginning was not a nice. It was terrible. So do I really have to? I don't like it. I hate it.
Okay.
But when you're young, it's normal now. So this is what I remember.
And when did it flip? When did you take that sip and go, wait a second, I like this.
16, 17.
Okay. So 4 or 5 years of hell.
Yeah. And then he pulled the brakes.
And then you go, wait a second. What about you, Luka? What's your earliest memory?
Earliest memory. I was always fascinated about my father's work that he is doing. Probably when I was 10 years old, we were in school and we had to write an essay. I write an essay, I put a title, My Father, Professional Drunker.
Wow.
I got almost expelled from school.
And then a nice billing at home.
Exactly what I was going to say. It's like, not only did you get it at school, but you got it at home too. That's a great story.
But it was interesting, provocative title, and then the story about the work of enologist and a winemaker.
Okay.
It was interesting. But then later, I haven't drinking wine until 18 probably. I was really into the sport and I want to succeed in basketball. But later, then at the end of the high school, I decided to stop with the sport and to go to university. And then there I found the love for the wine.
You're the second winemaker I've interviewed that started off in basketball and ended up in wine. There's a producer in Prepolto, Mattia Grillo Iole. I can't remember his last name now. But anyway, Mattia, he's a big, tall guy like you. And he was like, yep, basketball. And then one day just, boop, I'm going to make wine.
I should visit him.
You should. You guys would get along. You could do a little one-on-one.
One. See who's better thrower.
Exactly. No, I can arrange that. I'll put that together. Mattia Bianchini. So I'll put that together for you.
Cool.
We'll see. We'll do Italia versus Slovenia, one-on-one. So some strange questions. I like to ask some strange questions. I started this summer doing these domanda del cavolo. So these strange questions my questions have been strange enough so far, but now I have some stranger questions for you. For example, I want you to pick one of your wines. So any one of the wines that you make, you both make plenty of different wines. And I want you to make that wine, equate that wine to some famous person. So choose one of your wines, say, my wine is this famous person, and tell me why.
Luka, you go first.
Take your time. I can cut out the minutes of silence here. It's not a problem. But so if one of your wines was a famous person, which famous person would it be?
Oh, good question.
I think I can go.
Okay.
The wine, it's the Extra Brut Cuvée.
Okay.
It's a Ribolla and Chardonnay blend of classic method sparkling wine. Only 2 grams of sugar, so very, very dry. And 5 years on yeast age. Now, for me, it's the most elegant wine, sparkling wine we produce. And our philosophy is freshness and full body. The balance, that thin red line between the two worlds, which are opposites now. And somebody who reminds me of that is Obama, but I'll explain. I'm not politically in any sense.
It's not a political thing, but
something I always liked about him when I heard him speak or looked at him is how balanced he always was. Regardless where he was put, he always excelled in a very nice, elegant way. He always rose up to the challenge and was always very easygoing about it.
Okay. There's a very specific word in English for this, which just came to mind, and the word is poise.
Yeah.
P-O-I-S-E. Yeah, poise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nice.
Poise.
And that's a great way to describe a really, really great sparkling wine. Poise is great. Yeah. How about you, Luka? Did you come up with anything?
Probably, yeah. I'm a big fan of Paolo Sorrentino and his movies.
Okay.
And normally the main actor is Tony Servillo.
Okay.
And he always plays some gentleman in his movies. And I found our Ribolla in this way.
Okay.
Or if I go even further, probably if I just connect Ribolla single vineyard to one film character, it would be the bride from Kill Bill, from Quentin
Tarantino, yeah.
Uma Thurman.
Ah, okay.
It's a very specific character.
Right.
Very straightforward with
very strong.
Very strong with killer instinct on the one side. On the other side, very gentle, warm.
Maternal.
So we have this Ribolla that single vineyard that has this killer instinct, but it's still very maternal, traditional, and express my winemaking, I could say.
Okay. And what about a song? If you had to pick a song to represent your winery. No, if you had to say, okay, this is the theme song of Klet Brda, or this is the theme song of Medot, what would the song be?
Sweet from Cigarettes After Sex.
Sweet from Secrets After Sex. I've never heard of this before. Which one is the group? Which one is the song? The song is named Sweet?
Exactly. And
the name of the group is Secrets After Sex.
Cigarettes After Sex.
Cigarettes After Sex. Okay. Yeah. What kind of music? Describe this to me, because I've never heard of this before.
It's a very I wouldn't know how to describe it. I just like it a lot.
You just like it a lot. So why did you put those two together?
It's a very gentle song.
Okay.
With a very rough and strong lyrics, almost on borderline vulgar.
Okay.
But sweet at the same time. So it's this type of genre, no? A little bit like Luka said about Kill Bill, no? You have two opposites that blend well together.
Okay, a little bit of yin and yang.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. A little bit of sweet and sour.
Yeah.
Nice. And what about you? Theme song for Klet Brda. What would it be?
Last year, I really liked the music of Vasco Rossi. Probably Vita Spericolata. Because people, when you work in a winery that is cooperative, people like to put you in a box. They have many different thoughts.
Preconceptions.
Yeah. And you have to be out of the box. You have to go over the limits. You have to go over the boundaries every time. But still, you have to respect your environment, your region. But you have to go further, and go out of the box and go and to shock people actually.
Okay.
That they realize and they start taking you more serious, and you have to force them that you are that you are not just the one winery.
Okay.
That you are something more.
Yeah. Sometimes you need that shock to show people that you have more than one dimension.
Exactly.
Right? It's like, oh, I didn't know you were able to do something like that. I do that all the time as a person. I still try to shock people all the time so that people don't think that I'm just one type of person. So every once in a while, you got to shock them. Yeah, really good. Is there something, we're basically at the end, we're almost at 90 minutes here. How would you like to leave our podcast today? What would you like to say as sort of the last message before we close this wonderful project of Brda on La Taverna? How would you like to say? Because obviously we want people to come here, and I could say that all day, and we've said that at every podcast, but what else would you want to leave people who are listening with before we say goodbye?
I guess the biggest, Brda's biggest strength is the terroir and the Ribolla, and in how many different cloves the Ribolla can excel. So you can really try, it's not just fresh or full body wine or sparkling or sweet. In many different, you can put many cloves on a Ribolla and the Ribolla still excels.
Okay.
And this is something that I invite everybody to come and see for themselves.
Okay. And Luka?
Yeah, if you are searching for passion, then the Brda are the right place.
Okay. You are all very passionate. It's true.
Yeah.
8 winemakers, every one of them with a really high level of passion. It's really, really very interesting. Is Ribolla a dragon or a unicorn? It just came into my head. Is Ribolla a dragon or a unicorn?
I see it as a unicorn.
A unicorn. Why?
Dragon is too aggressive.
Okay. A unicorn.
Unicorn is more gentle. It's still very imposing and everything. Unusual, no.
Okay.
Dreamy.
Yeah.
But elegant.
Okay.
And more mythical.
More mythical.
And more mythical.
Okay.
And the Ribolla can be very mythical.
Okay. Gentlemen, thank you very much for spending the time with me here today. It's been a pleasure. It's a pleasure meeting both of you for the very first time. And thank you for sharing some Krasno. We didn't get to taste some of your wine, but
you can take it home and you will taste it.
And I will let you know.
Thank you.
We'll exchange numbers when we're through. Yeah. But I really want to thank you very much for spending the time today. And it's been a wonderful experience doing my podcast here in Brda. So thank you very much. And I want to thank Erika as well for helping so much with putting everything together and giving me the space. So thanks very much, guys.
We thank you for having us.
My pleasure. Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.
And thanks to Silvia for making it happen.
I would like to thank the producers present on the podcast today for their time and for their wines. I would also like to thank Klet Brda and director Silvan Pershodia for the space to record this podcast. Alish from Kristalvin, who was my contact in the region, and especially Erika Konkut, who was the real star behind the scenes and making these podcasts happen.